Alright guys, and welcome to the stream. This is crazy, and when I mean crazy, I definitely, want to emphasize the crazy news that we got. And again, I'm just checking some of my sources right here to confirm this crazy news that, again, really blew my mind and that is really causing me to, almost force live stream because of this, again, essential breaking news. Now, as I go ahead and set up everything, if you are in the stream, welcome to the stream. Hit that like button, subscribe. But guys, we have gotten some breaking news, just confirming these reports to make sure everything is on point. It's legit news again, but there is unconfirmed reports as of now of a possible hit of a nuclear facility. In this case, one of the biggest nuclear facilities in all of Europe, in southern Ukraine. And so we are gonna go ahead and just make sure, we check and see if there are confirmed reports. As of now, it is unconfirmed. But this is, of course, coming after major threats of a rumor, of course, possible nuclear warfare. Even President Putin of Russia really mentioning it multiple times. And so, again, this is, possibly some of the biggest news that we've heard as of now. Again, this also comes as Kiev recently been heavily targeted by missiles and by air. And as well as multiple other regions and multiple other of the biggest and most densely populated parts of the Ukraine capital. Now, of course, we did hear some news earlier that it was possible that Russia was really trying. Wow, I just got some article here that's quite intense. Again, we did get some earlier news that Putin was possibly trying to do a ceasefire, but it doesn't look like it is happening or that it is going to happen. Again, this is quite intense what's going on right now in Ukraine, and to be honest, all around the world. But let me just have a quick look at some of these reports to just double check them and confirm. Again, this is some real breaking news, unconfirmed reports of a possible nuclear facility hit by Russian forces. Again, it does blow my mind, but we are going to make sure and confirm these reports as of now, because this is quite serious if it is confirmed reports. But welcome to everybody in the chat. Again, we're just getting quickly set up here on my end. Sean says, it's true, I watched it. Shingo Crypto says, hope you're in the safe spot. Thank you guys. Hit the like button. This fire at Europe's largest nuclear plant. Zinks asked Putin for direct talks again. This Zelensky emphasizes, guys, this is huge. This is huge. We got some breaking news. There has been a nuclear plant hit by Russian missiles. This could be the strategic way of Russians. Maybe they, instead of having their own nukes and nuking it, to them this is maybe the better option. They could hit a nuclear facility, and then that's how they can kind of claim, like, we didn't launch the nuke, it kind of lit itself up. Is that possible? Again, we'll have to see in the near future, and the damage that this could possibly cause. Again, this is some extremely radioactive, flammable material right now in a nuclear plant that could cause even more explosions. Again, this is extremely, extremely dangerous and an extremely, sensitive situation. But again, this is intense, and again, Ukraine's essential equipment plant not affected by the fire, so maybe there is a possibility that it is going to be safe. But again, this is some breaking news that we have live for you guys. Again, we are watching Kiev live. Again, this is just as we got breaking news reports again that were a short while ago where a missile hit a nuclear power plant facility. Again, this is huge because the impact of this could be devastating for Ukrainians and Europeans in general. This is the largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine and in all of Europe. So this could be an extremely, volatile situation. At any point we could see really, it flip and go right into the negatives. This also could possibly trigger little explosions as well, which could then devastate all of Europe and Ukraine. So we are keeping a lookout on that specifically. Again, this is quite intense in a situation like this. You want everybody to kind of work together to try and solve the situation and keep it under control. Again, I'll just welcome everybody to the stream. Again, we do have some breaking news. A nuclear power plant facility has now been targeted by Russian forces, and again, it was hit. This is huge, and now the power plant is under severe fire, and the warn here and the scare is that this fire could really get into the nuclear power plant and really cause a huge explosion, and trigger a lot of radioactive aspects to, get involved. And again, that would be a huge hit for both all of Europe and Ukraine as well. Again, this is quite intense. Alright guys, and we are back on the breaking news. This is crazy. We have confirmed reports of a nuclear site being struck by Russian forces. Do you know how crazy that is? Again, this just shows the intensity of the battles happening in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, and all around Ukraine, of course. Again, this is something that we have been talking about for days now, talking about how intense the battles have begun in Ukraine, especially as of recently, and especially with the convoy heading all the way to Kiev, which has now encircled the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, and is now basically, bombarding it on a consistent basis and heavily bombarding it basically with all their might. And again, this is the intensity, and this is, I think, only going to get harder and harder and stronger, and Russia's going to keep on going through and trying to, hit more targets and do that, especially as this time extends. And I think they do understand that as well, and the fact that, right now they are looking not the greatest in front of, the world in terms of strength-wise. And so what they're trying to do now is really take it by force and show the world that, look, we are still strong. And so they are using tactics that normally you wouldn't use, and that are, a lot of them are known as illegal war tactics. They've used multiple global illegal rockets and missiles that are banned in war, but they are still using it. And again, this is, crazy. This is something that we've really been paying attention to, and insane, paying attention to that aspect, because it has been getting intense in the last, short while. Okay, so Mirage says, hi, Geek. Mirage also says, was saying yesterday that the convoy was a decoy, now nuclear plant now taken over. I know, this is what we're talking about, and I think this is a complete change in aspect of the Russian government. I think now they're pulling out all the force. They don't care about civilian casualties, when earlier at the beginning of the invasion they were really sensitive about that, and they were saying we're not going to hit any infrastructure or anything that causes mass civilian deaths. But now they are careless in that aspect and really have stopped caring. Now they have one goal, and that is take Ukraine by force and with any amount of casualties. And this could really be because of the amount of resistance that they are now facing from the Ukrainian army. I think at the beginning, when they first went into this invasion, they were suspecting a day two we'd capture Kiev, the capital, and it was done, and there would be no civilian casualties, and we wouldn't lose as many troops as they can. But Russia really undermined the Ukrainian military, and this caused them to lose a lot more than what they expected, and really not, follow any of the plans or any of the timelines that they had predicted. Even the USA came out and had said that Russia's plan was extremely delayed. The timelines they have set, they had previously set up to capture Kiev and to capture Ukraine had been severely delayed, and this was all because of one main aspect, and that was the Ukrainian resistance really put up one of the biggest fights that they had the least projected, and they didn't really estimate that big of a battle. They had predicted, a small, simple fight, put up, but a lot of them would really welcome the Russian troops. But clearly that was 100% wrong, and the estimates that were made in this case, and the person that made those estimates clearly didn't do his job right, because the Ukrainian resistance put up a battle that no troop and no Russian troop had even predicted, and it was really an intense fight. And again, we are constantly seeing that through Air Force attacks by Ukrainians on things like the Russian convoy. We've seen yesterday over 800 military vehicles get hit and destroyed due to Ukrainian troops really targeting them from the sky. Imagine 800 war vehicles, and they also had said they had casualties. The Russian troops had casualties because of that 800 convoy vehicles that were destroyed. Over 1,000 Russian troops were casualties in that, and several other thousands wounded. So it was definitely one of the biggest hits for Russian troops, and we're constantly seeing huge hits similar to this just reoccurring and consistently happening. And so again, this is something that is going to be a big game changer for the Russians and even for the Ukrainians. And I think this is really going to intensify the amount of target attacks and the amount of missiles that are really right now attacking Kiev to a significant degree higher than what anybody predicted. And we're only going to see that increase more and more as the raids continue, and as Russia starts to feel the sense of possible defeat, they're only going to ramp that more and more. And one of these biggest signs that we've seen now is the nuclear facility that now has been hit. And again, this is huge for the Russian military. This could really be a catastrophe for all of Europe. This is the largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe, and this could mean possible reactors causing major explosions. Again, major explosions that could really destroy part of Europe. In addition to this could also cause radioactive waves that could destroy the lands and once again cause huge damage to all of Ukraine and even like a chunk of Europe. So this is going to be something that is severely dangerous, and we're going to be paying close attention to it, because at any point in time this missile could cause a domino effect of explosions inside and internally into the nuclear facility. So we are going to definitely keep right now looking at how it's going, and more specifically, we're going to be really paying attention to the nuclear, solar plant that has been targeted by Russian forces, and the intensity and really what's going on as well. And again, like I said, this could maybe be the warnings that Putin has said. Putin has mentioned multiple times, leave Kiev. Putin has mentioned multiple times, leave Ukraine. He's also, hinted at the nuclear force to be put on high risk, and multiple other nuclear aspects. He's threatened other countries with, catastrophe damage if they tend to, join as part of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. And now that there is some, maybe that's his plan. Maybe his plan is to target those, nuclear facilities, nuclear plants, and that's his way of saying, okay, well, we didn't drop the nuke. It's your plant that exploded. And again, this is the same and maybe worse, a worse catastrophe than anybody would have suspected. Hitting the base of the nuclear facility really causes vast majorities of explosion and exposes all the radioactive waves to basically the entire continent for multiple reasons. In addition to the wind possibly taking the radioactive waves and all the things that kill the plants across Europe and into different countries. Again, really a huge thing that would really destroy, again, a major chunk of Europe and Ukraine. And maybe even, the wind push it to Russia and cause, destruction in Russia. We say, Wolf Nay says, hello, welcome Wolf Nay. Mr. Boo says, hello News Geek, how are you doing today? Mr. Bro also says, hi guys, how's it going? Mr. Bro says, they are gonna keep pushing Russia, and we all could pay. And again, this is what we're talking about. This is the first sign that really Russians are, taking that slacking aspect where they really are starting to care less about civilian casualties, and really are now targeting specific areas that could cause mass destruction, not only in just the country that they're trying to invade, which is Ukraine, but this could also cause mass destruction in all of Europe or in a big chunk of Europe. And if the wind works on the disadvantage of Russia, some of these radioactive waves could hit Russia as well and even hurt Russia. So again, I don't think at this point they're looking at the consequences of what they're doing. Really, they have one goal, and Putin has mentioned it multiple times. And Putin has mentioned it multiple times, where he said, we are going to pull out any and all offensives on Ukraine until we hit our main goals. And again, this is what we're seeing right now. He's pulling every offensive he can, and he plans to do so until he reaches those goals that he wants. Whether it causes destruction in other continents or other countries, really he isn't worrying about that right now. Right now, his biggest worry is capture Ukraine in the shortest period of time, capture Kiev in the shortest period of time. Whether it has casualties, civilian or military, doesn't matter right now. Putin and Russia's goal is to capture Kiev and Ukraine in the fastest way possible. Okay, let's get to answer some of your questions right here, guys. We get Ivan says, hello people, welcome. Wolfney says, News Geek, how are things where you are right now? Mr. Boo says, yeah, could get bad if Putin Chernobyl the other day. Okay, it says, things could get could get bad if Putin decides to say screw it and basically just level everything. Yeah, exactly. Mr. B also said new troops were at Chernobyl the other day, but not to mess with it. And this time again, things have changed. And this is what we've been talking about. The view of Russia and Putin towards really where they target has completely changed. Now their goal is how can we destroy, anything in our way to capture Ukraine. Whether it's going to cause damage to other things, he doesn't really care about at this point in time. And again, we did notice this by the targeting that they have been doing. Again, lots of in-city, densely populated areas, Kiev, Kharkiv. We've also seen, things like the nuclear facility recently, or today, breaking news again, the nuclear facility, southern, biggest European nuclear facility has been targeted as one of the, attacks. And this could really be what ends up leading to severe consequences, not just for Russia and Ukraine, but for also Europe and maybe other parts of the countries. Could this trigger World War III or a nuclear war? Again, we don't know yet. I don't think so. But I guess the big question will come is that what will happen if, these sites that get targeted right now that are nuclear power plants actually open up and crack and cause multiple other explosions and then leak radioactive waves all across Europe and all across Ukraine. Who is going to be able to stand up to it, and what are the consequences that are going to be put on Russia for doing that is really what's going to determine that. And again, this is something that is no joke. Having a nuclear power plant struck by a missile, whether it was by accident even, I've heard that they aren't really accurate. The missiles that are being taken by, or that are being put out by Russian troops are not accurate within a huge kilometer radius or mile radius, and whether that's one of the reasons. Again, who's going to bear the consequences of a deadly nuclear power plant that is constantly on fire and that could leak radioactive waves and basically destroy part of the continent? Who's going to bear those consequences is going to be something that we're going to pay attention to very closely. And again, what's happening right now in the facility is really unknown, and I think won't be known until we get some clear, news about it. As of now, they aren't saying anything, and this could mean two things. Either maybe things are getting better and they just don't have the time, or it could mean a worse turn. So we're gonna, again, pay attention to what's going on, more specifically in this nuclear facility, because this could really change the way the world reacts and really change, the world in total. Again, if this radioactive waves leak, this is complete destruction for a lot of European areas in Europe that are used for planting and that are used for agriculture. That automatically means food prices are going to raise. That causes a food shortage. Again, a lot of people are not going to be able to access those areas that are heavily hit by radioactive waves. So that's going to block a lot of areas in Ukraine, and now that are going to be unaccessible. So this is again huge breaking news. Just recapping what we were talking about a few seconds ago. Breaking news: a missile has targeted a nuclear power plant. That has been confirmed. And again, it is currently on fire. Still no real news about what's happening in the facility, whether there's a radioactive leak that we are only going to see in the next little while and that are going to be released in the next little while. We're going to find that out. And whether it's going to cause a domino effect of explosions and really rupture, the shell of the nuclear manufacturing site, of the nuclear power plant. And then we're going to start to have radioactive waves really spread across the continent and maybe even around the world. That is going to be mass destruction. And again, we're going to see what happens as we closely monitor this situation. And this is why I said I have to come on and stream, let everybody know what's going on. All I need from you guys is to hit the like button. This is breaking news, and this is seriously important. This is going to affect every single human being on this globe, or could affect every single human being on this globe. So hit that like button, guys. Do your part by sharing it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything you can. Let everybody know what's going on, and maybe, and just maybe, this war can stop, and maybe we can not have these massive, sites hit that could really destroy the world. So share this live stream, hit the like button, and constantly, guys, if you want to support the stream by, of course, subscribing. But Ivan says, did I miss something? Yes, you missed some seriously breaking news. Cole says as well, what's going on? Just joined. This is serious. We just got reports that a nuclear power plant has been hit and is now on fire. There was no confirmed reports of exactly what's happening inside the facility as of now. We're keeping a close look to it, but this is serious. A nuclear facility has been hit, and what we've been just discussing is, could this trigger World War III, especially if we start to see radioactive leaks really head on to Europe and start causing mass destruction in Europe by killing agricultural land and causing major famine across the globe. And in addition to this, this missile could really trigger multiple other explosions, which could really destroy a lot of Ukraine and even Europe. So this is the big worry that we're going to see. This could really change the way things are right now. This is huge, and this is something that we're only going to be able to know in the next little bit as more news comes on about this case. Now, of course, in this case, Mirage says if Ukraine falls, then they head to the borders of NATO. A silly little Western soldier is going to see a heavy military force and open fire upon them. And that is possible. Again, we aren't going to say any predictions. The Cold War was one of the biggest examples where, there was face-to-face almost with, the enemy force for Russia, and it didn't break out to be like a full-scale war, but, yeah. Okay, Mr. Bruce says Ukraine is just the hot point at the moment. Keep your eyes on it. However, don't take your eyes off the rest of the world because there's a priority. Just watch everything. Wolfney says, I believe you're right, Mr. B. Mr. B also says, yes, it could. If a nuke plant goes critical or has a meltdown, man, not good. Wolfney also says, guys, there's some gunfire that can be heard right now as well. Wait, guys, I have a question. Have I been talking or has it been muted the entire time? One second, guys. Have I been talking or has it been muted the entire time? This is unbelievable. For the past hour, I've literally been talking, but it has been muted, so crazy. So, I'm going to come back and answer your questions. And again, sorry if I'm speaking loud right now, but this is intense. For anybody that just came in, oh, Joshua says now we can hear you. Can hear you fine. Okay, that's good. Yes, you have heard everything. I hear you. Okay. For a second, I just looked at it right now, and I was like, no way. How did it, maybe I just muted it by accident right now. So that's good. Hear you fine, but alright, perfect. Yeah. Again, this could be true. Again, this could be, earlier we've seen a possibility of what we said is North Korea, I think. Again, I read in some news, launching some ballistic missiles, near, I forget what it was, but near some type of, some land border. I think it was, I can't recall exactly, but again, you're right. So I guess you do have to pay attention to what's going on all around the globe, and we never know. Maybe some countries start to try and take advantage of this situation to really do what they want while everybody's paying attention to Ukraine. So it's always good to look all around the globe. And again, this world is changing minute by minute, and if you're not really paying attention to it, again, this is no joke. Okay, Mr. B says, I heard from when I came in. Sounds good, but nice and clear. Sounds like a generator in the background. It's okay, though. This is actually from, it is in the background, actually. This is from the audio in Kiev. This is Kiev, the Independent Square, which is in the bottom left corner. This is where the audio is coming from. Mirage says, most news is just covering the Ukrainian fleeing. Yang says, Wolf says, whatever happened with that convoy that was 40 miles long? Was that a convoy that was 40 miles long? Was that a decoy, or what are they? This is what I was talking about earlier. So part of the convoy was 800 vehicles, and it was targeted by Ukrainian forces, and it destroyed over 800 vehicles. They destroyed over 800 military vehicles and over 1,000 Russian soldiers, as well as helicopters and part of the Air Force. So this convoy is really taking some huge damages, and I think a chunk of it did arrive at Kiev and are now encircling Kiev, or have now encircled Kiev, but are really not taking any action. But yeah, definitely what I did say within regards to that is it definitely took some severe hits. This convoy that was 40 miles long took some crazy hits, and I guess we'll have to see how big that 40-mile long convoy is now. After this, Mr. Boost is exactly News Geek. We are in a constant changing world, not for better. It's sad, I know, it definitely is scary. It's definitely scary. Alright guys, so if anybody wants to come on the stream and just share their opinion, maybe some comments, or if two people want to debate this situation with Ukraine and Russia, feel free to join the Discord. The link is down below, and I'd be more than happy to welcome a nice and friendly and respectful debate. All you have to do is join the Discord, and a moderator will put you into the stream, and you'll basically be able to get heard on everybody live. So if you want to put any comments, or you want to debate with somebody against things, most definitely join the Discord, and we'll bring you on the stream. Crazy Horse says, do we actually have proof this happened? Yes, there is plenty of sources that I have. Plenty of sources that I have that have told me, and it's pretty much all over the news as of this point. So yeah, I know it's definitely crazy. Again, the morning has now risen in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. This is where things are about to get intense, I believe. You know, we've just seen an intensifying, war that we see here in Ukraine. It started off as being relatively calm, not really much battles, not really much clashes. Then it shifted to more clashes, more missiles, more attacks. Specifically, they were targeting accurate infrastructure. Now it's like, earlier it was like, they were now targeting any civilian or any infrastructure, military infrastructure, and even now it's gone to a really worse point where they're targeting anything that they feel is in their way, or anything that they feel they can cause destruction with is now getting targeted, like this nuclear power plant. Mr. Boost says, I think Russia's being a bit more honest with numbers than Zelensky. So Zelensky gave Russian troops, soldiers that were, killed during this and were casualties were 9,000. Russia gave a number of 500. Where is the accurate spot from these two extremely vague numbers? Really, nobody can know at this point. It's just so far apart. Maybe if one said 5,000, the other one said 8, we can say 7,000. 7,000 is the middle point. But you're talking from 500 to 5,000, or from 500 to 9,000. There's really no estimate that you can say it's in the middle. It's too big of a number to even try and predict. Crazy Horse says this is terrible. Most definitely terrible. Noodles says, so Putin's plan is irradiate his troops too? Again, I can't speak on that, but again, his troops are not in that spot. So that the place that the nuclear power plant that was hit, his troops weren't located there at the point of it being hit. How many stomachs in the convoy? Again, and did they get fuel too? Again, how many? I don't know how many people are part of the convoy. So I can't give that number, but I know it's quite big. And did they get fuel? What I'm guessing is maybe yes, maybe no. Again, they've been having insane logistical issues. Kind of shocks you to see actually, what I heard is it started off as 40 miles. They stopped, and more troops came in, and it extended and became a 60-mile long convoy. This 60-mile long convoy had insane logistical issues. They were out of fuel and out of food, and it was a constant thing, and it kept on causing them issues. I honestly, at this point, don't know what's going on with the Russian troops and the Russian convoy. So I will not speak about that because it is so, unreasonable to even speak on, and insanely confusing, because these Russian troops are having issues that a normal military wouldn't. Like, how can you go into a war zone without fuel? Like, that just shocks me. Mr. Boo says, that's what I'm saying, like seeing proof from both sides. I know it. I know Russia lost 1,000 troops, then Ukraine lost 10,000, in my opinion. Mr. Wall says, we will know the truth when it's over. Exactly. And this is the big question again. I don't even think President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, really even gave a direct number of how many Ukrainian troops. He gave a number for Russian troops, that I know for sure. Whether he gave a number of how many Ukrainian troops, I don't think he even gave a number. Or he gave one at the beginning. By what I recall, I don't remember seeing a real number as of recently of how many Ukrainian troops were targeted. Okay, Mirage says that Russian 500 could have been a daily count of kills. Crazy Horses, hope it ends soon. This is nuts. Mr. Bruce says, fathers, brothers, sisters know their personal number. Yes, indeed. Francis says, I think there's something we don't know. Something is not clear. Yeah, definitely there's a lot of information we can't get. Crazy Horse says, hope all of you are doing okay. Yeah, thank you so much, man. I'm doing fine. Again, it's been relatively intense, but overall I'm doing. If you want to support the stream, hit that like button, guys. Please share the stream to everybody you know. Please hit that like button. If you want to be extra nice, extra kind, you want to like buy me a cup of coffee, because today is a good day. Hopefully it's a good day, and it's relatively quiet again. Started off intense with the breaking news of a nuclear facility hit that could cause insane destruction, but we hope the rest of the day is fine. So if you want to help us out and buy us a cup of coffee, that would be fantastic of you. All you have to do is go to that super chat button. And yes, I'm drinking coffee today. Okay. Mr. Bruce says, indeed, it's a mess. Bridges taken out. Exactly. Yeah, at the beginning of this battle, Ukrainians destroyed bridges so that Russian troops couldn't get across. Wolfness is question. So is it true that the Russians will be doing public? Okay. Again, I don't know. Daniel says they're expandable. Mirage says time will tell. Noodle says, did you hear about the $40,000 offered to Soviet troops to surrender and say the word insurance? I have never heard of that, actually. Obsidian, how far is combat from where you are? Mr. Bruce says, no, I didn't hear that. Who's going to pay $40,000 per troop to surrender? If that was his desperation, 40,000 per troop. That's I don't think that's reasonable, honestly, as at this point. Again, there are millions of Russian troops. I guarantee you, a lot of them are not able to. Like, when I seen these troops, I seen a lot of them actually at restaurants. Honestly, that's what I seen them. I seen them at restaurants. They were going to gas stations and things. So I don't think these are relatively rich troops, and I guarantee they would accept a free $40,000 to surrender. But I don't at the same time think that the Ukrainian government even has that much to spare. Francis says, Ukraine president is asking and making more heavy actions to other countries. I don't know, something don't make sense for me. Francis also says, so for my English, no, it's fine. Yeah, again, I've been reading a bunch of things, and it turns out the Ukrainian president is, as of this point, consistently asking for help from Europe and from other Western countries. Noodle says, be right back. Francis says, anyways, I still think Putin is the villain in this story. Mr. Bush says, he got bullied into this war by my country and some NATO countries. It's got to do with other than what most knew. This is definitely, again, a very great spot. But guys, we are back with some breaking news again in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Recently, earlier in southern Ukraine, a nuclear power plant facility has been targeted by missiles and has possibly radioactive leaks and a bunch of leaks. That was weird. A bit of a lag spike. It was a bit of a lag spike, my bad. Alright guys, and welcome. I'm finally back. You know what's funny is I came back and I still didn't refill my coffee. So I really should be refilling my coffee right now. But I have to wake up like crazy early. I still haven't slept. It's been like a crazy day. Imagine I gotta go to sleep. But that's fine. I'm gonna grind it out with you guys. I think I'm gonna just stick to the coffee, you know, all day long, all night long. We're gonna stick to that. But that being said, guys, that being said, first off, I want to thank Thomas for the $4.99. So thank you so much for that, Thomas. That's number one. Francis says, "You're knowing me. I stand with a geek." Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, back with the breaking news right now. Again, a recent nuclear facility has been hit by Russian missiles, and still no update on that. Francis says, "That's why I'm here." By the way, Mr. B, good night. Guys, I know I'm in and out, but I'm quite busy honestly. I'm paying attention. There's some really critical things happening right now. And I think it's just more important for me to just pay attention to that rather than tell you guys, and then I'll tell you guys, once I have all the info.